What a day. All right, we got Randy on the plant cast with us today. Before we get started though, I want to do the plant of the segment, which this week we've got a foxtail fern, which is in the asparagus family. What's it called, Randy? The asparagus densiflorus.
Yes.
And I mean, I love these because they're soft, but this is also, that asparagus plant that kind of grows wild. You kind of call it a weed.
Yeah, kind of.
They have stickers all over them. But these are friendly.
Till they get older.
Yeah.
And what kind of flower does it have, George?
This gets like it's a little white ball-shaped flower. They don't come around too often, but they're cute. And these can be indoor or outdoor. And these legs get pretty long. They get pretty big.
Nice.
So that's it. That's foxtail fern for this week's plant of the week. And Randy, welcome back to the show.
Thanks for having me.
Thanks for being on again, man.
Sure.
What I wanted to talk to you about this time is mulch.
Mulch. Okay.
Now, you've been in the landscape industry for quite a while, and I always wonder how that all started. Like, like when you're eating an oyster and you're like, who's the first guy that was hungry enough to break this thing open and eat it? So with mulch, I wonder who thought okay, I'm gonna chop up a bunch of wood chips and spread it in my planter beds for the benefit of the plants.
That's a good question. I don't think I've ever looked into that.
Where did it all start, Randy?
It all started with a tree and grinding it up.
But I mean, it's like in those old English gardens that were perfectly manicured. I never really looked at the ground cover. I think that was just, and even today, some people keep it just plain dirt, but I know that the big box stores and things, they try to push the mulch, and they'll say, get rid of weeds, hold moisture, which is kind of an oxymoron to me because moisture creates weeds.
But mulch is not a good substrate to grow weeds. That's why it's recommended that you keep at least 3 inches worth of mulch down at a time.
Right.
So it has no substrate for a weed seed to get started. It has to travel too far, and by that time, the weed seed dries out and dies.
Yeah, and in today's trends with mulch, there's dyed mulch, there's different materials.
It's a personal preference, yes.
Yeah, it seems to me with a lot of the hardwood chipped mulches that are dyed, people put it on, I'm thinking of the red. People put it on, it fades out in, I don't know, 3 months, maybe 4 months. So just because of the color has faded out, they put more on. And I've found when you plant in that, you pull that mulch back and there's a lot of mold because it's just wood on top of wood. I know the purpose of it is the wood's supposed to decompose and amend the soil.
Yep. Wood breaks down, makes dirt. Dirt enhances the sandbar that Florida is.
Yeah, right.
So that is a good thing. So you use less fertilizers, you use less, and it also retains the moisture because in Florida it's 100 degrees with 100% humidity.
Exactly.
So anything you can do to add moisture to plants is always better. It's the difference between rock and mulch.
Yeah, and it seems like now I like to use. You have the planting mix, yeah.
Compost.
I've spread that just in planter beds. Now I know that's not mulch. It's kind of what they use when they pot these plants.
It is compost.
What do you think about putting that down and then a layer of mulch on top of that?
You can.
You can't. It doesn't hurt, right?
No, anything, adding dirt to a sand is always good because it's going to break down and enhance the sand.
Yeah, I mean, you figure
nutrients.
Yeah, you figure after every rainy season, you've lost a little bit of the sub base, the under the mulch anyway.
You don't lose it. The plants use it.
Or it gets absorbed.
Yeah, because it's energy for plants.
Yeah. Now, one interesting thing is I had an old tree guy. He was like originally, he's a Florida guy, doesn't wear shoes. He's, big beard. But he was telling me that when he just cuts coconut palms, if you took just the coconut palm fronds, ran them through the chipper, and then spread that out in your planter beds, there's a lot of nutrients in those palm fronds.
Pretty much that's what the planting mix is compost. So any of the debris that you cut off of plants or trees or whatever
That
gets
material's
chopped up into that compost.
Yeah, that material's already in there.
Yeah, and then they add sand back to it to give it the weight and dense.
Right.
So you're making compost.
Yeah, some of those bags of mulch are, especially in the summertime when they get wet, I swear they're like, I don't know, 60, 70 pounds.
They do, because bags of mulch actually are perforated on the sides so that it can dry out and it doesn't get moldy. But sometimes, when it's not covered up and the rain comes, it actually gets absorbed into it because
They get
wood.
heavy.
Wood is like a big sponge.
Yeah, they get heavy for sure.
Yep.
And then now, I wouldn't say it's a new trend, but the flora mulch, which is what kind of tree is that?
Flora mulch is it's a signature mulch of a company, and it is made from the Melaleuca tree.
Melaleuca, yeah.
And other
We call them
products.
When I first came to Florida, down around Bonita Springs, Fort Myers, they were all along the side of the road. We called them paper trees.
Yep. It's an invasive species in the Florida Everglades.
Yeah.
And we're doing our part to eradicate that species.
Yeah, might as well make mulch out of it.
Absolutely.
Now, does that stuff does it have good nutrients in it?
It does. It's actually a chopped mulch rather than a shredded mulch. So chopped mulches lay flat.
It's kind of like little chips and whatnot.
Yep, it's chopped. Where shredded mulches actually lay together. So that gives an opportunity for a weed seed to get down in between the shredded mulch. Where the flat mulch, it just is on top.
Yeah, and
so it's harder for it to get started and germinate.
Yeah, and if you're spreading it between like stepping stones, that's probably better. It lays down better.
It does.
Yeah.
And it's chopped really fine. So, and once it gets older, you can actually pick it up like a big piece of
like a slab.
Like a
comes
slab
out,
or a blanket or something like that. So which makes it harder for a weed seed to also get started.
True. Yeah, it kind of like bonds together and becomes like large pieces.
Yeah, and because it is Melaleuca, it actually is it's an invasive species, so nothing eats it. So it actually resists bugs because bugs don't want to live in it because of the natural oils that it has.
Yeah. That's what they always used to say about eucalyptus mulch. It was like bug resistant. And
eucalyptus is another natural resistant bug deterrent because it is an invasive. It has a natural oil. Cypress is also another one, but we cannot cut down cypress trees.
Yeah.
You can only harvest ones that have already fallen.
Now, with cypress mulch, there's different grades. There's some high-end landscape companies that just use the bark. Mm-hmm. That's the grade A?
That's the grade A.
Yeah.
It's a little more expensive, but it's only the bark of the cypress tree. So, and it's taken off with either chains or by knives.
So what's the theory behind that? Like you're getting the best nutrients out of the bark and whatnot?
The cypress tree actually takes longer to break down. So it's the only one that you can walk on barefoot because it's just like,
not sticky,
pointy. It's not sticky, pointy, or shredded. It's going to be more like fines of the bark.
Yeah, that, and now here's one, I'm sure you've heard of this. I've seen people use pecan shells, or there's some kind of shells. They're in smaller bags, and I don't know if that's for like a whole outdoor planter bed or like a pot container situation.
That sounds to me like it's more like a substrate rather than a mulch.
Yeah. So, well, being on the subject, I got to ask you this.
Yeah.
What's in your planter beds?
My planter beds, I have rock.
Well, you know what? That's the way to go sometimes.
You know, plantings and things like that, I'm not afraid to use some fertilizers when it comes to
Yeah,
nutrients for
yeah,
my
yeah.
plants. So I have rock because I just don't have time to do the mulch because I work a lot of hours.
Yeah, I mean, I get it. Once the rock is in, you're done. You're
Right,
not doing it every season, you know.
right.
Only thing, like I think about the rock, river rock, that type of thing. They retain a lot of heat.
They do, but there is also a layer of weed mat between the roots of the plant and the rocks. And it's
Gotcha.
still, I mean, once your irrigation goes off and soaks the ground, it takes a lot for it to heat it up because of that layer that you have underneath the rock.
Gotcha.
Because you always put weed mat underneath rock. You
Yeah.
never put weed mat underneath a mulch. Up
Exactly.
north, up
I,
north you do that,
yeah.
but that's because they freeze and they have snow, and then when the season changes back to spring, everybody rakes off that inch worth of mulch that they have on there and put
Yeah.
fresh, and it's good for the rest of the
No,
season.
I 100% agree with you on that. And I was at the FNGLA convention up in Orlando one year, and they had a class just about, um, especially that double woven commercial grade weed mat.
Mhm.
It almost like inhibits the mulch from decomposing into the soil.
But you can't, and you have to remove it in order to get the benefits of the decomposition.
It's just like a lot more work.
Yes.
But I have found with stones, especially smaller stuff like 89 stone and pea gravel, after a summer of the hard rains, you lose a lot of that into the soil without the weed mat. So the weed mat does
Correct.
save the rock. You know, you don't lose it.
Yeah. Well, 89 stone is a natural to Florida because it is limestone. So limestone is going to actually disappear into the sand
So
without
that,
breaking down because
yeah, that has
everything breaks down.
it has benefits to the soil.
Sure.
Now, what do you think? What about shell? The alkalinity in shell. Do you have to like be careful with what type of plants you use in that?
Most all plants in Florida are already acclimated to the salinity, not really the alkalinity. It's more salinity because
Right.
it's going to be a salt product and calcium. So it's already acclimated to that because it's in this environment growing. So even our groundwater has some level of water that's saline.
Sure.
So it's going to have salt in it. So most natural ones are already acclimated.
And it seems like it picks it up from the air, like on the coast.
Yeah, during our storms, yeah.
Yeah, well, that definitely happens. Yeah.
That's why you'll get a film on your windows after a storm.
Yeah.
Because it's the salt water that's being beat against you.
Yeah, Florida's, it's, you know, it's just a
Salt.
different, it's tough, like to have, up north is its own type of, has its own hardships of work, you know, that you have to do seasonally.
Mhm.
Florida has a lot of work too, just in a different way.
Yeah.
But yeah, it drives me a little bit crazy when people, I believe plants should harden into their own environment. And a lot of times I see folks like they'll dig a way bigger hole and create like a false environment for the plant by putting, I don't know, like they mix up cow manure, peat moss, Canadian sphagnum moss, and all this stuff, and they put it in the hole and put the plant in, which, if you think about it, the plant's already in, you know, like this little foxtail fern.
Mm-hmm.
It's in a container with some time release fertilizer, some planter mix. So that is like the baton passing off when you put it in the ground. You know, it's got that around it, and then the roots are gonna get out into the natural environment.
Unfortunately, they don't. They'll usually shock when they hit that native soil.
Oh yeah, yeah.
So you created a pot inside the ground.
Yeah. Yeah,
So
which
it'll
is,
either get stunted and only grow so tall, or it'll shock out when it hits that thing, and then it'll just continue to use the environment that you've created. And then once that's gone, then it dies.
oh, so like almost like the roots will come back. When they get out of the good stuff and they hit the natural environment, they won't go any further.
Well,
Yeah. See, I don't think people think about that.
they don't.
And I've seen some, pretty big landscape companies that do great work, and they just take the plant out of the pot, throw it in the hole, and they're done.
You still have to have some kind of encouragement, whether it be with a biosolid fertilizer or augmenting to the soil.
Yeah, people like that Milorganite.
Malorganite is a biosolid, yeah.
Yeah, they just when you dig the hole, put some of that in the bottom, and it's not what is it like it only lasts so long,
A month.
but it does. Yeah,
Yeah, it breaks down quickly.
it's a good kickstart. Yeah, so I mean, there's a lot to think about.
There is.
So that was our subject for today, mulch. But everybody's got different ideas. I think a lot of it boils down to like the look, the colors, color of the house, color of the roofing shingles. People try to integrate things.
It is a preference. There are different colors for different preferences. Yeah, and it is, based on your environment that you want and the look that you want.
Yeah.
So that's why we make it in all different colors.
Oh yeah.
Standards are black, brown, gold, red. And then you get into your natural colors, which has no dyes or no
earth
different
tones.
colors. Well, it's going to be a lighter colored wood.
Yeah.
So it's going to be like the inside of a ground up tree.
I don't know. In my opinion, not black, but the dark brown, it's just when you have a fresh bed of that down, it seems like the plants stand out. Like the greens are greener, your flowered plants just stand out more.
They are. In the natural woods, if you have them underneath of trees or anything like that, when the leaves start falling, the natural colored woods will actually disguise the leaves.
Yeah.
So when you have a black mulch down and your tree starts leaving, you're going to see the leaves everywhere.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Well, Randy, thanks for being on the Plant Cast. And as we do with all of our guests, at the end of the show, we like to give the plant of the week away.
Oh,
so that's yours.
It's something I've always wanted.
There you go. All right. Well, thank you guys for watching. And we always want you to like and subscribe and share. But the main thing is to watch these. And if you don't watch them, you can't do the rest. Thanks a lot. We'll see you next time.
Thank you.